The Failure That Is New World, Part 2. If you haven't seen Part 1, I highly recommend going back and watching it. It is filled with a lot of cursing because I'm very passionate about MMOs. This video, I promise that I will be a lot more tame. I will definitely relay some good information here on why this game is a piece of crap and why Amazon, specifically a community manager named Muggsy, is demolishing their game. Okay? Um, to begin, I want to explain a little bit about the previous video. A lot of people seem to think that my issue with the game is that they're not focusing heavily on PvP or full loot PvP or any form of loot PvP where a player would die, lose their gear, and you'd be able to take that as the player that killed him. That is not the issue. The issue is not about, oh, there's no focus on PvP or there's no reason for hardcore players to play this game. It's not about that. Please understand that. Because if you think after all of this that this is what this topic is about, this is where I stand, that we need hardcore PvP, you should apply to work at Amazon because they have reading and listening comprehension problems as well. Okay? So now, let's get into this. What you see here is a post by a player named Bergen. I know it says it's by me because I've copy and pasted it from their forums. So, this is called the Dead Honest Critique list after 500 hours plus played by a player named Bergen. Again, not my words. I am not going to read this whole thing because it's long, but I'm going to scroll through it so you can pause the video and read it if you want. Okay? So just to start off, there's a couple segments from it we'll touch up on. 500 plus hours. Open beta and launch getting near. This is time to drop some bombshells, baby. This is before the delay was announced, right? He goes over 6 weeks to schedule launch, 26th of May. Obviously, that's been delayed, but we're going to go through here, right? And you will see that a lot of people echo my issues with this game as well, right? Holding territory, getting less worth patch after patch. Incentives of PvP are still horrible. It feels bad for several reasons. It has little to no impact on the gameplay still. Moving on, implementation of caps, capped warfare, capped faction tokens, capped Azoth, capped taxes from towns, capped company sizes. Everything is restricted in this game. It'll feel like you're constantly in a cage, and every day they're like, let's move this a little bit. Let's close his bars a little bit. Let's move him in a little bit more, and they give you less and less room. That is what this game currently is, and every patch does that. So still can't build anything anywhere except a tent. Towns are not customizable. I won't go over the experience thing. You guys can read all this if you want. Quest absolutely sucked donkey balls. I like that one. Character customization is terrible. There's one I really wanted to touch up on. Again, pause the video if you want to read all of this. Don't know where that section was. I will get to that. Yeah, here we go. We're getting to the good stuff. Getting to it. Faction balance. One faction becoming way powerful with all the stronger companies joining the same faction and the server population in general selecting the same faction. Not on purpose. This massively depends on the server population sizes, but the smaller the pop size is going to be on a server, the bigger the chances are for this problem to appear. Let's say a server opens and has 5,000 population, and then 3 to 4,000 players of that population choose the same faction. That's a real problem, and we've seen it in the alpha. It's a big problem. Moving on, as you can see, this is a long post. It's got a lot of good information. This one is really important. Forcing companies having to take on the casuals for the invasion. Now, I don't want to write what I feel about this. What the fuck? This is a huge giveaway of Amazon Game Studios' direction in catering solo players who actually do not want to get a company and they don't want to play as a group. This is an MMO, or supposed to be one. Organized play and interaction with other players is going to play a vital part in any game that is supposed to be an MMO. Right? That's fair. Right? I think we can all agree on that. You play an MMO, you're supposed to play with lots of people. This decision, or even if the thought of it, sends a lot of bad vibes catering for an extremely casual audience to experience the game the way you want them to, not us. This is exactly what I had in my post. My post, again, is in the last video. Even the thought of it, that's how it felt for me as well, is the fact that you even thought to design it this way fills me with worry. I think that was my exact words. Something like that, like, whoa, like, why would you even think to go this direction? But again, Amazon's not only doing it, they pat themselves on the back. Oh, this is great. Everyone's loving it. No, they're not. Forced mechanics need to stop. Give player choices of how they want to play the game. There are already way too little sandbox elements left in the game, in my opinion. More forced mechanics and limiting factors does not help. First playing needs to be like a line drawn, not catering to solo players in an MMO. I agree with that. So there's the entire post. Again, pause it, read the whole thing if you'd like to. I just don't want to make this video that long. So he has a lot of good points. Now, let me ask you guys a question. Let's play a little game, right? Now, when he posted this, what do you think Amazon's response was? A, they responded to the thread and said, hey, this is great feedback. This is really good information that we will take to heart and we will provide to our developers, and we can, use that feedback to hopefully adjust the game. Do you think they replied like that? A, or B, no reply at all. They didn't say anything. Or C, they banned the player from the forums. I'll give you a second. Okay, you done? So, did you pick A? Anyone out there pick A? Anyone? A? Is that right? Sorry, you're wrong. They did not reply and say, hey, we really appreciate your feedback. Okay, let's try B. Anyone say B? Anyone? Anyone out there? They didn't respond at all. Looks like B's wrong as well. That's right. The only one that's left is C. They banned the player from the forums. Am I full of it? Am I lying? Here's a conversation with Bergen. Great post you made yesterday. Again, that's a post I made in my previous video. I think this info might be of value for any future take on Amazon Game Studios and New World. I made a hard reply on your post, further providing the facts by showing the forum stats of how well Amazon Game Studios have been communicating. Not well. They suspended him. Account suspended. Posting to incite non-constructive, openly hostile. For that post, and for him coming to reply on my thread and saying, hey, dude, I like your post. I really wish Amazon Game Studios would reply more to our threads and let us know that our feedback's being heard. This guy is the nicest dude. He's a lot nicer than me. He's a lot more, he's a lot calmer than me. He chose his words carefully, very polite on the forums. Account suspended. It's right there. I ain't bullshitting you. It gets worse. This dude named Muggsy is the worst community manager I have seen in the gaming world ever. I've worked with a lot of them. In fact, I just signed an NDA 2 days ago on another MMO to consult on it. This is his response. Let me just go to the end here. It pisses me off. This is pretty demeaning. I do agree that we can do a much better job communicating around bug status and providing a tracker. I have been working with QA on a solution. This was months ago. Still not there. Still not there. This is months ago. This is before the Amazon delay, the New World delay. This is months ago. Still nothing to track it. Still barely any responses. The next paragraph is the most insulting. I understand there's a lot of frustration and fatigue for folks who have been testing for a long time. I've seen this before. There was an MMO called The Secret World. Horrible game. And the developer, he was being interviewed, I'm like, hey, why'd your game fail? He blamed the MMO player base and said people are suffering from MMO fatigue. Not my fault. Not my game. It's not the MMO I made. My MMO is great. It's not New World. It's not our forums. It's not our responses. Everyone's getting tired. Everyone is fatigued. It's you guys. It's not us. My honest recommendation is to take some time off. This is the dude that's putting in 500 plus hours into your game to provide free feedback. A massive amount of effort went into his feedback. Bro, get out of here. Take some time off, man. We don't need your freaking input. We don't care about it. Work to improve communication, put some mechanics mechanisms in place to help catalog bugs, but I don't think that is why you're angry. This is the worst part. I think you are angry because the game didn't change in the ways you personally wanted, and you feel the cement is drying. If I received this response from this dude, that would be the end of it for me. I would never play their game. That would be the last time I've ever touched their game. Now, Amazon, I have a relationship with more than just the people in New World with your company. I'm speaking directly, and I have been speaking directly with other people at your company, including community managers that are above this person, his manager. Um, I've received emails after my video. I know they saw it, and I know this guy watched it. My last video on New World. He will watch this one too. I can guarantee it. You're horrible at your job, Muggsy. You're bad. You're a very, very poor community manager. And I hope you take this to heart. But you know what? You won't, because you can't take feedback. You can't take constructive criticism. You can't do that. No. What do? You ban people after they put in a massive amount of time to test your game, 500 plus hours. Then he wasn't done. He went on the forums and compiled all his stuff and said, hey, this is the problems I see with the game. And you suspend him. That's ridiculous. Not only suspend him, you throw you throw salt on the wounds. Take some time off. You're just salty because the game's not going the way you want it. That's ridiculous. This is April 12th. I don't know what the fuck is going on. Amazon Game Studios headquarters. At no point have I been unreasonable, out of context, angry, or anything. I can vouch for this dude. He has not. He's a good dude. He also doesn't know I'm making this video, and I hope that's okay, Bergen, if you see this. I said, I'm really sorry to hear that this happened. You have always been respectful in all your posts and responses. Assuming you didn't say anything out of the normal way of just discussing feedback and issues, I would not expect you to receive any suspension. I did look into his posts. He didn't say anything out of line. Anything. Reached out and see if I could possibly get a response on this for you. Reached out to them, no response. So that's the end of that. I'm not going to get into that anymore. But so let me just focus one more time on one of my biggest issues with this game. It's not hardcore versus casual. It is the dedicated versus the less dedicated. That's it. Take for instance, you're at your place of work. You're working and you put in 40 hours a week, your full-time job, right? And you have a coworker, you're working the same job and you make the same hourly rate. So you're making, I don't know, $30 an hour, and this guy's making $30 an hour. He works 20 hours, you work 40 hours, but your company says, hey, we're at the end of the week, you're both going to get the same paycheck, no matter how many hours you work. If I was the dude working 40 hours, I'd be like, the hell is this? I'd be pretty upset. I'd be more than upset. I'd be pissed off, because that is the Nekrage way, to be pissed off about things, right? That is what this is. You're playing the same MMO, or you're working the same job, and you're putting in different amounts of effort and hours, but you both end up at the same reward at the end of the day, the same pay, or in the game sense, the same gear and the same progression. Come on. Even if you're the guy that can put in 2 hours, I don't know, 2 to 4 hours a week into an MMO, do you really expect to have the same progression and the same gear and everything, and I don't know, do just as well as someone who's putting in, let's say, 5 hours a day? You know, that's substantially more time than someone who's putting in 4 hours a week. You cannot possibly think that that is acceptable to be progressing at the same rate. That is what Amazon's doing with New World. They're limiting how much you can progress. They are allowing people that have no company or just one member in their company to own territory when there's a limited amount of territory. You know, there's only like 15 spots you can own, 15 territories you can own, and all these guilds are fighting over this. And there's one dude, a company with one member owning one of those territories. It's a highly sought after piece of land, and this one player owns it. But over there's a bunch of guilds owning some other ones. But you know, if it's all one player owned all of these, there'd be 15 players in the entire game that owned land. 15 players in the entire MMO that own land, and there might be 5,000 people on your server, and 15 of them own the land. 15 zones, companies with one player in it own all of them. So that's what you're talking about. Horrible, horrible design. But Amazon does not want to hear that. And to further provide evidence that I am not the only person that feels this way, this is another post. Um, it's called "A Tiny, Highly Engaged Segment of the Population," and it was in quotes. That is Amazon's response to say, hey, the people that said they want more focus on PvP or want more focus on progression and allowing hardcore players to actually have a reason to be hardcore in this game. Oh, you're a tiny, highly engaged segment of the population. There's only about 200 active people on the forums. This is what this dude did. I decided to spend my precious time gathering data on how many players want deeper PvP mechanics, mainly open PvP, or entire PvP zones and better rewards and meaning. Better rewards and more meaning. If not, give us separate servers. What he means is give us a PvP server and a PvE server. No problem with that. And not doing that is pure laziness, Amazon. Also, I promise I won't post more, Muggsy. Let this one slide. That line should speak very loudly. This dude is literally saying, hey, don't ban me. Let me just make this one post. People have to be scared to post feedback on this. I'm not kidding. This is throughout the forums where people are getting banned just for saying, hey, you know what? I think we need a little more focus on PvP. I think PvP needs to be a little more rewarding. Banned. I'm not kidding. That is what Amazon is doing. Again, this dude is a little scared of saying it. I was banned for it. Bergen got suspended for it. It's throughout the entire alpha. It's not like isolated incidents. I promise you. They're treating their community horribly. They're taking it for granted. They're taking the free feedback for granted, and it's disgusting. It is the worst community management I've ever seen in gaming world. So Amazon, if you still want to talk about that, feel free to reach out. I'd be more than willing to discuss this. The opinions of people mentioned below vary on the scale of how much danger there should be in the world and whether it should be everywhere or not. But one thing is for certain, almost everyone wants some form of open PvP, whether it's limited to certain zones or whether it's implemented throughout a different mechanic like faction or territory warfare. That's fair. He's not even saying everyone should be, you're always in danger of being ganked. He's not saying that. Again, there's about 200 active people on the forums. He just took some time to grab some people's names that he was like, hey, these are the people that really want, I've been talking about PvP. His name is Cigarette. That's the dude that made this post. My name's in there too. It's right here. Notice how it says can't tag next to my name? That's because I'm banned and I have no intention to ever come back. So he's like, I've been at this for a while. I need to take a break, but I'll keep adding the names as I dig deeper in the forums. He's not even done yet. This is out of about 200, maybe 300 players. This. I don't know how many names that is. I don't know. Over 50, I guess. I don't know. But and these are people that took the time to say, hey, we need some PvP here. We need some incentives for it. There needs to be a reason to have PvP in the open world. Point of this post is to highlight the call for more meaningful PvP and danger in the open world. There is now a strong sentiment that the PvP community is just a small fraction of the entire player base. That's a load of shit. They're not. There's also strong sentiment that devs are not listening to PvP-related feedback because there have been no meaningful dev discussions or updates in terms of the state of PvP in the game since February. No updates, just bans. That's it. Suspensions and bans if you're talking about PvP. They added faction quest and war after the outcry at the beginnings of this alpha, and that has been a major flop in terms of generating more engagement in PvP. It sucks. If we have some idea of where PvP is headed, we can provide more targeted feedback since the way feedback has been coming in. The community mod responses have been the same for the past 5 months. We know PvP is an issue. We do not plan to go back to any aspect of the previous alpha. Provide more feedback about the PvP and the game system's current scope, and then there is silence. This is, how do I say this? There's got to be a term for this. It's like feedback that they are trying to funnel to show what they want to see in the terms of the feedback. Don't talk about this. Don't talk about how you liked it here. Talk about how it currently is and why it's great the way it currently is, or what you would adjust about the system the way it currently is. But don't go too far at the guidelines though. If you say, hey, you know what? The way the PvP is right now it's pretty good, but in the last alpha it was this way. Well, you know what? You said the last alpha, you're banned. We don't want you talking about the last alpha. We don't want you talking about how it was before. You're banned. I'm not kidding. You have to be that careful with your responses. You got to walk on eggshells here because if you respond the wrong way, you're banned. I'm not kidding. Again, I was an example. We had Bergen, and now we have Cigarette. And it's all over the alpha forums, but I'm not going to go through the whole forums and provide you every incident. I'm not doing that. You're welcome to believe what you want. I'm always happy to discuss it. If you want to hop on my stream, you're always welcome to do that. And we can always talk about it more. Heck, you can come in Discord and kind of interview me. Maybe we record it and upload it. I don't know. Anyway, focusing back on the topic, they are picking the type of feedback they want. So if you have 1,000 people in your testing, right, and they're like, hey, let's just say it's a product, a chocolate bar, for instance, and they're like, hey, the last recipe of the chocolate bar was a lot better, liked it a lot better, and 95% of people are like, yeah, I really like the last recipe better. Don't talk about what you liked about the last recipe. Talk about the current one. I am talking about the current one, okay? I don't like the way it is right now. It was better before. What did you change? Like I like the way it was before, and all of us agree. 95% of us are saying, yeah, we liked this before. Well, you know what? Get out of the room. Get out of the room. Bring in replace these 950 people and bring in 950 more people. That's essentially what this is. Ban people that say, hey, we really like the PvP the other way, and get in people that just say they like it now. They like the way it is now. Don't talk about what we had before, that you liked it better. Don't do that. That is what they're doing here. That's like that 4 to 5 dentists recommend blah. Yeah, but every time they have like 3 of them said they don't like this brand, get those 3 dentists out of here. Bring in some more dentists that are going to say they like this toothpaste. All right? It's like selective polling, I guess. Is that a term? I don't know. I might have just made that up. Look it up. So this is probably gonna be a long video. 21 minutes already, almost 22. Guys, that's it really. That's all I have to say about New World. They're managing it like crazy. Not crazy. They're micromanaging it like crazy. I'll say that. They are horrible. Um, Sorry, I got distracted by that last thing. Let's see what he was saying about being banned. But yeah, again, if you want to talk about stuff, let me know. I'm just gonna throw up a quick video. This is a video I made. I have it unlisted. I am currently playing a game called Fractured. One of its tests come out. I know it's isometric. I know it's not the most pretty looking game in the world. I like this type of stuff. I like stuff that's doesn't have to be so graphically intense. This is a game for real PvPers, but you can also avoid PvP if you want. There's options to be on a different type of server. I'll explain that in greater details if you want to watch some of my other videos. But this is just a little bit of PvP we did. In the links, I'll have links for this Fractured, a discount code if you want to ever try the game. But don't buy anything if you don't want to. I'm just saying that these are indie devs. These are devs that truly appreciate feedback and treat their community with respect. And it's a shining light in the darkness in the MMO world to see a dev team actually care about feedback and treat your time with respect and really, really value it. So I highly do recommend checking out Fractured. Check out some of my other videos on it, and hopefully they answer any questions, because I imagine this just popped a million questions in your head about this game that I don't have time to answer. Again, links are going to be in the bottom for Fractured if you want to check it out. If you ever want to talk about Fractured, New World, anything, hit me up on the streams that'll be in the link down below. I stream on all 3 different platforms. And yeah, thank you very much for watching, and hopefully you guys like this video a little bit more because it wasn't filled with me yelling and cursing. Have a good rest of your day or night.